Hey everyone, Mr. Shatter here to take a look at how to take the derivative of an inverse function. So that's what we're going to explore in this video. Let's get started. First of all, let's see if we can find a relationship between the slope of a regular function and the slope of its inverse. So let's consider y equals 1/2 x plus 3. In order to calculate its inverse, you have to switch the x and the y. So this becomes x equals 1/2 y plus 3. And so if I isolate y, I'm going to minus 3 from both sides, so I'm getting x minus 3 equals 1/2 y. And then I just multiply by 2 throughout the problem, so I get that y is equal to 2x minus 6. So compare the slopes. Slope of the original 1 over 2, slope of the inverse positive 2, so the slopes are reciprocals. So the slope of an original and its inverse are reciprocals, not opposite reciprocal like perpendicular, just straight up reciprocal. I've invented something called the shack chart, and this is going to help you stay organized when finding the derivative of inverse functions. For example, suppose the point 2, 3 is on the original function f of x, okay? Then we know by default of what an inverse is that on the inverse, 3, 2 will be a coordinate on there, okay? So suppose at the point 2, 3, the slope of f is equal to, I don't know, let's say 5. Okay? What we then know is the inverse slope of f at 3, at x equals 3, is actually equal to the reciprocal of 5, which is 1 over 5. So you can use this chart to stay organized when calculating the derivative of an inverse function. Fill in what pieces of information you know as you know them in order to figure out what you need. All right? Patent pending. Check chart. Let's try this example. Example number 1, given f of x is a continuous function and differentiable such that those values over there on the right apply. A, if g of x is 1 over f of x, what is g prime of 2? Note this does not mean inverse. So let's find A. So A, in order to find g prime 2, you have to first find g prime x. So you need to take the derivative of g. So the derivative of g is equal to the quotient rule. So low d high minus high d low, all divided by the low squared. So it looks a little something like that. So this makes 0, so that's pretty nice. So this is equal to negative f prime of x over f of x squared, which if I plug my values in, well, actually we'll just do it in the next line as to not get confused. We're now finding g prime of 2, which is equal to negative f prime of 2 over f of 2 squared, which is equal to, I'm going to use my tables now. So f prime of 2, f prime of 2 is equal to negative 4, so it's going to be positive 4 over f of 2. F of 2 is negative 8. I'm going to square negative 8 and get positive 64, which gives me an answer of 1/16. So g prime of 2 is 1 over 16. Okay? Part B. If g and f are inverses of each other and g of 0 is 4, find g prime of 0. All right, we're going to go to the shack chart, patent pending. Okay, so we're going to do the shack chart here. And what we know so far is that I'm going to just replace these. Just use a little teacher hack here. Check this out. Just going to make this go away and make this go away. Isn't that cool? I know you're amazed. Will I edit this out? Only time will tell if I edit this out. But here we go. So I'm going to start with g of x, and its inverse is going to be f of x. Okay? And the point that I was given is that g of 0 is 4. So I know that on g, it goes 0, 4. And so therefore on f, it would be the reverse, 4, 0. All right? Now I'm asked to find g prime of 0, which is going to be this value right here. G prime of 0 is right here. This is g prime of the x value, of the x value of 0. And what I know, what I just solved in the previous problem, is g prime of 2. So I found g prime of 2. Oh, that doesn't help me. All right, let's go to the table. This is nice. I can actually find this value right here. This is f prime of 4, right? F prime of 4, the slope of f at 4 at the table. Look at the table. Erase these. F prime of 4 is 16. So that goes right here. So then using the shack chart, I know to just take the inverse of that to get 1/16, which is my answer. So g prime of 0 is 1/16 in the problem here. And that's going to equal the same as the slope at 2, interestingly enough. G prime of 0 is also equal to g prime of 2.